This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone has set up the Kubernetes and they have started creating this basic pod. I hope so. Yeah. So still we can see after rebooting my system. So yesterday I have shut down my system and today I have just logged in. So still I can see that the pod is still running. So restart one in the sense because yesterday I have shut down and today it is getting started. So it's almost a restart, right? So that's the reason it is giving you the restart count. So you can see the creation time. It is 23 hours ago, which we have created yesterday at 8:30 or somewhere we have created this particular pod. Okay. So let's go further and we'll try to elaborate our creation of the pod. Okay. And even I've shown you that when a pod is created in one particular namespace, you cannot create the same pod on the same namespace, but you can create the same pod in a different namespace. So that is the concept of namespace creation in order to isolate the resources or object. Okay. It is too slow. Let me check. So now we can say this is the API version which I have specified. This is kind in the sense what kind of resource you are trying to create in Kubernetes. Metadata information like you can set a name to your pod, namespace on which namespace you want to create. Labels are in the sense the alternative name to fetch the details of your pods. Okay, similar pods or something, whatever it is. The same label I can attach to one more pod. Okay, both the pods can be pulled with the common name called labels because both the pods will have a different name, actual names, but the labels will be common. Okay, so that's it. Nickname. Let's say my original name is something. Other guy is also having something related to Sudhir or something. But the common using a common nickname, we can call both the people, right? So it's like that. Okay. So similar example I can give you. So spec in the sense the actual thing you'll write in the pod. Okay.
Sudham, so the
Spec in the sense
namespace we create like while creating the pod itself.
no, this namespace is already existing. So you can see here kubectl get name spaces. This is already existing, which I have used it. So next topic is like I need to tell you like how to create your own namespaces. As of now, we are using the namespaces which are already existing.
Okay.
Okay, so these three namespaces will be available by default. You can't do anything. Okay, so default, public, and system. System is used by Kubernetes cluster. Public is like public accessible. Okay, so other people can access this. Default in the sense the default namespace which we create, the current
So
user logged in.
okay. So can we specify like in which minion it can run?
Which minion I can tell you that, but I need to come across one after the other. Nodes
Okay.
that concept is called as node specific. Let us say by default you don't know on which node this particular pod will be created, right? It can be a minion 1 or minion 2. Okay, so you let's say your requirement is like you need to log in, you need to create this particular pod on a specific node. Okay, then what we need to do, first of all we need to assign label to the nodes. Whatever the what are the nodes we have, you need to assign label to the nodes. Okay, labels in the sense the alternative name for the nodes I'm talking about, not this pod specific labels. Okay, so you need to assign the name to a pod, and then you need to give not sorry, name to the node, and then here you need to give a parameter called node selector, and then you need to give the name key value. So that concept I'll tell you, but before that I need to complete few things. Okay, so once
Okay.
that concept is there, like I will try to complete all the things which we have in this.
Okay.
Okay, like on which specific node you want to launch. Okay, let's say I want to give only specific amount of RAM and CPU. How will you do that? Okay, so these things we can discuss in the later sessions. Okay, then so now let's say, so this is the container. So let's say you want to give another container, right? So let's say name again. I can give like whatever it is. Okay, and then image. It is. I don't want to give anything. So this is enough for me. Okay. This is already existing. Okay, this file is existing. Let's say if I try to create this, so what it is trying to say,
So do we have the same name?
sorry.
Same name in the same pod name?
So when you're trying to do an apply, right? So first time when you created your pod with the sample nginx.yaml, first you would have created with apply instead of create command, kubectl create. Kubectl create in the sense with a YAML file, you cannot modify the YAML file and reapply to the running pods some changes. Okay, let's say I have created a pod using a sample-nginx.yaml file with kubectl create-f sample-nginx.yaml file. That task you have done. Later, you have realized that I missed some particular parameters. So what you have done, you opened a file, same file, and you added some parameters, and you want to don't want to create a new pod. Just you want to apply the changes in the existing pod. So then when you use kubectl create command in the previous task, when you created for the first time of the pod, you cannot use apply on everything. Start at the starting itself, you have used kubectl apply. Okay, then for the second time also you can use the kubectl apply. So that is what they're trying to say.
So if we use
Yeah.
kubectl create, we can't use kubectl apply later to apply the changes.
Yes, you cannot apply the changes. Okay,
Okay.
so then one what that is the first warning which you are opened with. Okay, so what is the next warning? You can say the pod sample pod is invalid, spec container forbidden, pod updates are not add to remove containers. So you cannot add a new container or you cannot remove a new container from the pod, existing pod. So this concept is not possible in pod creations. Okay, you understood, right? While creating the pod itself, you need to decide how many containers need to be created in the pod, and then you need to launch your pod object in the Kubernetes. Okay, after later you cannot add a new container in the pod, or you cannot remove a new container a container from the pod. This is not possible in Kubernetes. Okay, so this is one thing you need to remember. You can call it as a this like a disadvantage or whatever it is, but this is not possible in Kubernetes as of now. Okay, they might have fixed in the earlier later version, but they might fix, but we are not sure as of now. In this version, this is not possible. Okay, which we have already seen. You can also
In
use
real
Crystal.
time, do they
No.
deploy multiple containers in pod or like
Yes,
just
of
one?
course. Yes, of course. Obviously, it's not about single container. Sometimes we need to have multiple containers in a pod. I will give you one example, the best example in the real time which we try to use it. Okay. Now, so uh, let me give one more example. Now let us talk something about resource limit. Okay, so resource limit in the sense now your pod is getting created without any limit in the memory CPU utilization and all. Now I want to set some limits. Okay, for that there are two parameters. One is request and one is a limit. Okay, limit in the sense that is a maximum limit where up to the limit which you can use it. Okay, request in the sense as of now you are requesting 20 GB. Let's say to be simple. Now you are trying to create a pod in that we have a container. For the container, you are requesting for 20 GB of RAM. Let us assume, okay, 20 GB of RAM. But you can set a limit saying that 30 GB. In the sense, as of now, you will request 20 GB, but it can increase the RAM up to 30 GB, but it cannot cross more than 30. Okay, so that is a major difference between request and limit. Request in the sense, as of now, while creating the pod, you are requesting so this much amount of RAM should be allocated to your pod. Minimum to be specific, it is minimum. Okay, maximum up to you are setting a limit. Okay, this is called as resource limits. So let's try to do it. Okay, I will show you how to do that. Okay, so this is called as resource. Okay, so let's try to do. Let me delete the pod. kubectl. How will you delete a pod? kubectl delete pod, and you need to give the pod specific name. Let's say if you want to delete all the pods in a namespace, by default it will execute in default namespace. Since you have this particular pod, you can see this pod is getting from default namespace. Okay, so if you want to delete it, delete pod, and you can give sample hyphen pod, it will delete. Okay, if you want to delete all the pods which are present in this particular default namespace, hyphen hyphen all, it will delete all the pods which are present in the default namespace. If you want to do in a specific namespace, then we need to add one more parameter called hyphen n and the namespace. Okay, whenever you think something you want to apply on the specific namespace, you need to give an option called hyphen n. Okay, whether it is deleting or whether it is creating or whether it is fetching the details or whether it is updating the details or it is modifying the details, whatever it is, you need to give an hyphen n option when you want to apply for a specific namespace. If it is for default namespace, no need to give any specific parameter of hyphen n, because whatever the commands you execute right now, it is in a default namespace. Okay, so this is crystal clear. So now let us add some parameters in the sample nginx. And here in container, okay, so this resource creation is for specific to your one specific container. Okay, and one more thing, let's say I want to pass some environment variables to my container. So for that we have env. You can see here. Okay, let's give some parameters. Name. Okay, let's say mysql underscore root underscore. Let's say I'm giving this. Okay, so let's try to use MySQL only.
So if you want to give two, like we can give same names in the container list. We can give like as if how many containers we want.
Huh. See, under a container specification, you can give n number of containers, whatever you want. Okay.
Okay.
And remember this names. Name should not be common. Okay, because both will be launched in the same pod, right? You cannot have the same name. Okay.
Okay. The port numbers as well, or
Port numbers are specified, right? Port numbers can be same. It doesn't matter, right? From one container to another container. You understood?
yeah.
So I'm giving MySQL root password has 1234. So name and value I'm giving here. Name. So then how it will export? MySQL root password equal to test123. Okay. So that is environment variable which I'm trying to give. Now let's say this is nothing but, let's say it's not Nginx, it's MySQL. So here I will try to give like, so that I can understand simple pod. I don't want to launch in this particular namespace. I will try to give default. Though it is default, it will launch in default. Specific to that, I'll give default. Okay. Hmm. Let's say Nginx here. And here, let's say, so sorry to start. So now, let's say I want to expose the port of this particular container. Then I need to give hyphen container port. It is 80. Okay. So here, let's say I want to give some environment variable. Okay, which may not be useful, but okay, fine for us. So here I want to give some particular resource specification. So resources. Okay. So here, first resource, let us say I want to give request for memory and CPU, both combinations. So what you need to give? Two spaces request. So request, request, that is specific, and give enter. So here you can give two spaces and then you can say CPU. Okay. CPU, and you need to specify the parameter. Okay. Let's say like 250M. It's like, the parameters, right? The CPU will be calculated in this particular format. Okay, you can see this. So like point one is like point one usage is equal to your 100M. Okay, so if you want to use that, then you can specify. So now this is nothing but 0.25. Okay, 0.25 usage of your CPU, one core CPU. Okay, so let's say like memory right now, request. So memory can be represented in two ways. Either you can say like, let's say like not 200, let's say like 400. Either you can specify M, or you can specify like this. There are two ways. One is either you can specify capital M, or you can specify capital MI. Both represents megabytes. Okay. Either you can specify MI or just M. It is up to you. So this is all about request. Okay. Now we need to give limit. Okay. Now this is, you need to replace with limit. Okay. So you can see here limit. Okay. CPU, let's say limit is like 350, and here it's like 500. Okay. So this is the maximum limit which I want to give. So is this point clear, or someone has the doubts which I updated here now? Any questions in this, so that if not, I can close the file and I can create the pod. Any questions? Any sort of questions is fine.
So it's
So
like
here we
MB
can, sorry, MB
or
it is,
C.
yeah. Either you can add 500 MI or M. M is nothing but MB, G is nothing but GB, K is nothing but KB. It's like normal specification we give.
But CPU, it would be like 1 or 2, right?
CPU is like the CPU one in the sense you cannot give one core CPU to your pod, right?
So how it will?
One, if you can specify 100 M, 100 M in the sense 0.1 percentage usage of CPU will be given to your core CPU will be given to your pod which you're trying to create. Here you can see that in this example the following pod has two containers. Each containers are requested for 0.25 CPU. Okay, each container has a limit of 0.5 CPU. 0.5 CPU in the sense you have one core CPU. In that you are trying to request only for 0.5 usage. Okay, so the number of threads it will calculate according to the number of threads we have. Okay, you can see here they are trying to convert it. 1 ms is not allowed. 1 ms is nothing, right? 0.0001. It will start from 100 m. It should start from 100 m. So what is 0.5 m? 0.5 here? 0.5 in the sense 500 m it is. Okay, so it is calculated like that in Kubernetes. Okay, the limits.
So okay. So we don't give one CPU or
No,
some.
no, no. If you have, see, as of now, I don't give it. Okay, but you need to specify in M. You need to convert one core CPU into 100. So it will be 1000 M, obviously, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that is how we need to calculate. So shall I continue, or do you have any other questions? You can see the entire file which I have written here, and you can ask me any question which you have not understood. Simple environment variables we have written additionally, and then we have specified the resource limit for one container, and we have created another container for Apache. Okay,
Good.
so let's try to save this file. Okay, and then kubectl apply. Now you can see apply -l sample. So now it is initiated, but it is not yet created. Let's see. It is under creation process. So how many pods should be created? Two. How many are ready right now? Zero. In the sense, nothing has been created. So it is under creation process. If you want to see the live information, watch. Okay. Whenever the status is getting changed, that will be displayed here. Okay. Instead of that, what you can give another command like kubectl describe pod. You can see here. So it is trying to pull the MySQL image. It is under that process. Where it is launched, this pod is launched in KubeMinion 2. It is.
Hi Sudham, how much time it will take for status change?
We cannot guarantee that. See, let's say I will give you a simple example. Let's say your image is already existing. It will do within fraction of like within minutes, below the minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say this is the first time you're trying to pull the image. Obviously, it will take some time, and it depends upon the internet connectivity it has to pull the image.
Oh,
You understood the concept, right?
yeah.
Yeah. If image is already existing in your Cube Minion 2, then it is nowhere required to pull the image. It will see that okay, image is already available in the local machine. Then it will create a container directly.
Is there any other way, means need to services register like that? Or
Nothing,
oh, so we need
nothing
to
is
wait.
wait. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
You can see your environment variables now here. See, this is container one MySQL, and these are the parameters related to your MySQL. So we have given the limits and requests and environment variables we have given here. You can see how it is exported. Okay, and this mounts is nothing but there will be some secret account, service account which will be mounted as read only. I will tell you what is the service account actually. Okay, and the Sudam's pod container in the pod, it's Nginx. Okay, which we have exported. You can see the state, it is waiting. Okay, and here also it is waiting. Okay, this is not a live tracker information. Okay, so you can see here, this is created. The status is like fine, and here the status is fine. So let's see the actual get pods. Now we can see both are running successfully. Okay, so now there is no issue. You can see the describe pod, nothing has been failed. Everything is like scheduled, pulling, pulled, created, started. Once the first image is done, first container is done, it went to the second container, and then it is created. Okay, since Nginx is already available, that's the reason it is too fast completed. For only for MySQL, it took some time, to complete. Okay, you can see here node selector we have not specified. If not, it would have launched on that particular node. Okay, so this concept we'll see later. Okay, now, so let's, how will you log into this specific pod then? See, now I have two pods. As a normally, like now a normal administrator, now you understood that there is a pod. There are two containers running. So how will you log into the pod? Now if I give curl, by default it is showing you that 3306. Will it show you anything? You can see here, it is like MySQL connected actually. Okay, got packets out of order. It's actually like you are able to connect to the MySQL. So what will you do now? How will you log into a container of a pod? So if you want to see the logs of this particular pod, let me show you one thing. Okay, kubectl logs, and you can give the pod. So it is asking you, you can see error from the server, bad request. A container name must be specified for a pod. Sample pod, choose one of MySQL or Sudams. So we have totally two containers created. One is MySQL and one is Sudams. Which one you want to see? That you need to specify here. Let's say MySQL. So this is the log related to your MySQL container. You can see. So you can track the information whether it is created properly or not, whether your password is exported or not. Okay, when it is getting created. So everything you can see from here itself. So this is just a logs to pull the logs. Okay, let's say I want to see the logs related to my Nginx. So that is named as Sudams. You can see this is the request which I made actually. So that's the reason it is 200 statement which is successful. Okay, now you need to log into the specific to the container in the pod. So how will you do that? Which I already told you, kubectl exec hyphen ti in the sense terminal, I is nothing but interactive mode. Okay, and then you need to give the pod name, sample pod. Okay, and then you need to give the container name. Let's say I want to log into MySQL. Okay, and then bash. You can see now you logged into MySQL. If you give IP space if config, I don't know where it is there now. Config command is also not there. Okay, fine. Anyway, I can give hostname hyphen I. You can see the IP address is same showing as a pod IP. Okay, so now from here I can connect to the internet. From my container, I can connect to my internet, but ping command is not available. For that, if you want to see the example, apt-get, you can see if you are able to execute apt-get update command successfully, then you are able to connect to the internet, right? That is one example we can give. Since now I need to install ping command and all, I don't want to do it. Okay, done. So let us see the environment variables which I have exported. You can see here. Where is it? MySQL. Yeah. Can you see the password which I gave? So this is what I have done. You can see I logged in with the same password. Okay. if you want to see the proof. Okay, test 1 2 3, logged in. Okay, so this is how we need to give. See, when you give environment variable in image, so automatically it will take that particular password as an input to the MySQL database creation. So that's the reason I gave MySQL underscore root underscore password while creating the container itself. Okay, so this is the example which I want to show. Just like show databases. You can see the database. If you want, you can create database. And see here. Okay. So this is how we need to create. Now you can use just normal exit command. You can see the pods. Okay. Both are in running state successfully. Do you want to log into the Nginx? Nothing. Actually, it is doesn't make any sense because it is created successfully and we are able to log in. Okay. Now, let's say I want to apply some limitations to my existing pod. So let's say I want to apply the same resources. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 7 YY. I want to apply the same thing. Okay. So kubectl apply and F. Oh man. Forbidding your pod of the field specifications are not allowed. What we need to do then? Guys doesn't accept. I need to do like JSON. Update the containers image using a JSON patch with the positional array, but that doesn't make any sense. It should be applied actually. What happened? The pod is sample pod is invalid. Spec forbidden. For updates are not chain field other than spec container image spec. Okay. So according to this apply, you can change the parameters only specific to this spec contain image parameter, or if you modify the image it will apply. If you modify the init containers details it will apply. Okay, if you modify the active deadline seconds it will apply. Toleration it will apply. Only these parameters will be applied when you do this particular change. Okay, other things will not be applied. So that is what they are trying to say. Trying to add new resource limits and all, it is not accepting it. Any questions in this? Any questions? No, right? Okay. So this is all about the pod creation. Okay. So now we need to have something like, let's say I want to launch a pod on a specific node. So these are the things which are left. Okay. So first of all, we need to assign some label to your particular pod. Or before that, I will show you how to create a namespace. Okay. kubectl create namespace. Okay. Let's say like Sudams. So now the namespace have been created. So you can see kubectl get namespace. You can see here it is active 9 seconds ago. Okay. So now you can create a pod in this specific namespace. Let me give the same thing. I'll try to add. Okay. Then say this file and come out kubectl apply -ef and then sample. You can see it is creating successfully. Okay, kubectl get pods -n Sudams. So I'm trying to pull the container from the Sudams namespace. That's the reason yesterday I have shown you the basic pod creation. Now I have added some new parameters like resources, environment variables, adding another container to a pod. Okay. Any questions
Hi,
for
Sudham.
today's class? Yeah.
Yeah, is there any way to create the YAML file to simple way to remember?
Uh,
I
yeah,
think we're creating connectors. We give two space. After that, name we give
yes,
three
yes.
spaces.
That is a one.
Spaces is
Yeah.
mandatory.
Space
Yesterday I
like
tried
two
to.
spaces. Yeah, two spaces is mandatory. But based on writing your YAML file, see, YAML is best simple way. Yeah, I think tool. You can use some tools like Atom. Atom is one of the application. If you create one file, saving with an extension called .yaml or yml, okay, automatically it will, whenever you give enter, right, it will give with two spaces automatically. No need to give two spaces from our end. Okay. So there is one more tool which you can check the syntaxes of YAML. After writing only you can check the syntaxes. But there is no other way to write to automatically generate YAML files and all. For that, we have a concept called Helm charts. In order to avoid these things, we have a concept called Helm charts. Charts in the sense, no need to write your pod YAML file and everything from your end. Just you need to update your values into your values.yaml file. Then automatically it will apply to the pods, deployments, and everything. That I will tell you later. But there is a way. Okay,
Okay.
in order to instead of writing the YAML files, we can have our own YAML. Like I will tell you at that concept. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, so Sudham's like in pod, like
Yeah.
if we are when we are doing multiple containers, so if some one container is like gone, so like it
Mhm. It will
so
create. It will try to create another container. If
so
one container is gone, okay, okay, come again, come again.
so if something happens to one container, it will launch a new pod or container.
No, 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 nothing. It will do. It will do nothing. It will show you the status saying that one container is ready out of two/2. It will show you the status like something like crash loop back error or something.
No, no,
Okay.
after launching, so
That's what. It doesn't create another pod. For that, we have another scenario. That is a concept called replication set.
okay,
If one pod is having some error, it will try to create a new pod
okay,
automatically. That concept is called as replication. It's just a pod. Pod is a base level for other resources creation. Okay. So that's the reason we have started with pod.
okay.
Okay. So now you can see this pod is running on the Sudham's namespace successfully. Okay. So this is how we have done. If you want to log into the that particular pod, okay. So this pod, this is related to another namespace. Let's say this I want from Sudham's. So this output is from Sudham's namespace. You can see here. I gave -n Sudham's. Okay. So wherever you want, whether it is exe command or logs command, whatever it is, you need to give -n common if it is a different namespace apart from default. Okay. You cannot escape from that. Okay. So that's all for today. So tomorrow we'll see a new concept called replication. Okay, and we will see what are the other parameters we can add in pod file like node selector and all. Okay, you can see tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay then, yeah.